Hi, it's Jen and Janine from Ready Together, and today we're talking to Jo from the physiotherapy clinic again. Hi, Jo. Thanks for joining us.
And hi, Janine.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hi.
So, what we want to talk about today, Jo, is a little bit different. We'd love to talk to you about the physiotherapy clinic's program called Born Ready, which is a birth preparation program. And as you know, we're doing the series on the different options available for people for birth preparation. And we'd love you to kick off today by just telling us a little bit about who you are again for anyone that doesn't know you and how Born Ready came to be.
Sure. Thanks, Jen. And it's a great initiative you guys are doing. I think it's a wonderful idea. So we are women's health physiotherapists, and which is a bit confusing when we're talking about birth, given that we don't deliver babies. But I guess we, over the years, we see loads and loads of pregnant women and women recovering from their birth. And we started to really see this need for women to understand far more about their bodies during pregnancy, and certainly far more about what their body goes through during the birthing process. And we wanted to give them that information. And we certainly saw that they really had no idea how to look after themselves after the baby, and what fundamental elements they needed to consider. And so we came together with this idea, and we thought, you know what, we do think that we can write this, and we think that we can start to answer that question that you get all the time from women: why didn't someone tell me this?
Yes.
And we thought, you know what, we can answer that question now. We can tell them. It's time to tell them. So that's how Born Ready came about.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's fantastic. So for those that are looking for a course, can you explain how it's run, what you cover? Tell us more about the course.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Janine. It's a lot about their bodies. So really what we want women to understand is what their body is going through during pregnancy, and what elements about their body in pregnancy might actually then go and impact their birth. And then, of course, we want them to understand both the physical and the hormonal impact that's going on during birth. So what is happening to your body during birth exactly, and in far more detail than women have understood in the past. And then there's this element of, okay, you've had your baby, and I know you don't want to think about it now, but actually we really need you to understand how to look after yourself in the early days, because there's some basic things that if you do well, it might rule out problems later. And then there's this big question of, when can I return to exercise? So we try and give insight into what we consider when we're helping people return to exercise. And the whole course is very practical. So we're landing people with practical skills in their pregnancy so that they can mobilize their bodies in ways that might help them during the pregnancy and during the birth, and then giving them those practical skills for both their minds and their bodies to help get them through the birth, and then the practical knowledge they need to consider afterwards.
I love that, Jo. I think I've learnt just through the chats we've had through Ready Together, I've learnt so much I didn't know about the physical body that would have been helpful when I had my babies. And yeah, that just sounds fantastic.
Yeah, good.
Bringing that to people. I think sometimes we think about the mental aspect of birth, but not the physical. So yeah, that's
how we like
important, isn't it? It all goes together.
That's right. That's how we like to describe it. It's kind of, we're trying to help you use your mind and your body to get through the birth and prepare both of them.
That's right. So I'm wondering, sort of at the moment, obviously the world's a little bit different with COVID happening. How has that impacted the way that you deliver the Born Ready course? Is it still running? And if so, how's it going?
Yeah, sure. So we are online now with our course. And funnily enough, we've resisted being online the whole time, despite people suggesting it might be a nice idea. And we've said, no way, it's far too practical to be online. Then COVID happened and we went, oh, good gracious, we need to go online. How are we going to do that? And actually we rolled our first one out back in April, and we kept all the practical components. And we just sort of thought, let's try, because we really want to keep this component of it. It's far more than just knowledge. It's also practicing that.
Yeah.
And we did that, and actually it was fine. So it was great. So we're rolling another one out this Saturday, actually, another Zoom session. And then moving forward, we might, we'll definitely bring it back face to face, but we're considering even keeping some online so that obviously then we can access geographically people.
Yeah, that couldn't get there.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing. We're online. It seems to be still really great.
That's good.
That's fantastic. So how long is the course?
It's only 4 hours, Janine. So it's just a 4-hour session. So Saturday morning we do from 8 till 12. So it's quite an intense 4 hours, but we just felt, I don't know if it's just Sydney, but particularly where we are, that may have been a barrier for some people to get education, because sometimes it was a weekend or evenings were tricky. So we obviously wrote the course and then culled it right back so that we could get it done in that short amount of time.
Fantastic. And a partner, how do you involve partners? How are you finding?
Oh, we love having the partners there. Fun. So we say to them, now we're teaching you these practical skills as much as we're teaching your partner. So you're an enormous part of this journey. And we know, we all know that actually a birth that is a supported birth is a better birth. So we're trying to really encourage the partners and give them precisely their role, the details of their role. And then we tune them back in for the post-birth element. Again, it's difficult to get everybody's attention on that, but we sort of say to the partners, we need you here. We might need you to hand your partner an ice pack. We might need you to do all the lifting. Who knows? But you need to understand why you're super important, particularly in those early days.
I love that. That's great.
And then I've just got one last question for you, Jo. I'm just keen to hear in your own words why you think birth education is so important.
It's a good question, Jen. I just think actually the answer to that's quite simple. And we know that education is empowering. We know that an empowered woman then will see her power and understand her power. She'll understand her body, and she'll understand her pregnancy and her birth. And I think that understanding then just simply makes her an active participant in the whole process. And then ideally the outcome is much more satisfying.
Yeah, we obviously, we agree.
We do agree.
We see in our work, and that's why we're running these interviews, in our work we see such a difference in, I guess, the more education, the better, really, the more we know.
It's that way, Yeah.
Thank you so much. Sorry.
I was going to say, it's hard to understand why it feels like it's taken us this long to share knowledge.
I know, and we agree, and I think that's what this area needs. We need to kind of bring that knowledge back together, bring the village back to people. Thank you so much for your time today, Jo. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to chatting again.
Yeah.
Thanks again. Thanks for having us. And I think it's a great idea.
Oh, thank you so much. Great day.
All right.